Hey, welcome back to the channel here. I wanted to, it's been a minute since I did a video, but I wanted to jump into kind of something that I've been doing a little bit over the last couple of months, which has just kind of been feeling out some different markets and taking a look at where there could be some opportunity to ultimately, start a home service business if you were interested in doing something like that. So I've been doing digital marketing for upwards of 10 years. If you are a home service company and you're looking for support and getting more local visibility through map optimization, local service, SEO, AEO, or more general, broad, multi-market type SEO, I'd love to connect with you. But one thing that I do to kind of understand what an opportunity looks like in a specific market is this concept of kind of keyword research. And so what I like to tell people is, when they ask like, hey, is my site authority good, right? Site authority matters from the standpoint of who you're going up against. It's one of the three most important pieces of being found through organic and AI search today. So how much site authority do you ultimately have? Well, that really only matters in the context of who you're going up against. So as I start to look into home service opportunities and I start to look at, shaking a little bit, as I start to look at different markets for where I would potentially start a home service business, one of the things that I'm going to do is I'm going to search the term that defines the category that I ultimately want to go after, and then I'm going to take a look at the competition that I'm up against. Now, a new website, something that's clean and crisp and looks good, that matters when you get traffic to it. So as we take a look at some of these websites today, and the search that I just came up with today, I'm not moving into this market, but basically pool installation, pool installers near me. The reason I pull that up is because I know that has a high profit margin when done the right way. It's got a lot of lifetime client value if you provide more services outside of just installing the pool. If you do opening and closing, if you do maintenance, if you do anything related to coming out and cleaning, things along those lines. So it can be the opportunity for tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars of revenue for the right business that has the infrastructure to stand this up. So I want to take a look. I want to just show you in about 10 minutes how to validate whether or not there's an opportunity to build a business in a certain market or how you would compete with another business in this specific market. So I'm going to share my screen and we're going to take a look at something. All right, fantastic. So as we take a look here at pool installation, I'm located in Cincinnati, Ohio. As we take a look at this specific category, I just Google searched, pool installer Cincinnati, and I pulled up the top 3 search results: aquamarine pools, Eastgate pools, and then American gunite pools, whatever that word, however you pronounce that. So as I take a look at this specific market, I pulled all 3. The one that I'm going to zero in on is this Mid-American gunite pools. So what I typically do is I take a look at the website just at a high level to kind of understand what are they marketing for, how are they kind of layering things out: services, gallery, locations, about us, careers, get a quote, schedule service, contact us. Then I open the tool Ahrefs. This tool allows me to take a quick look at the amount of authority that their site has, the amount of keywords that they rank for, and really how much momentum they're building from a third-party perspective. Now, keep in mind, this data is not laser accurate. It's taking a look at where they rank, and it's projecting out, the amount of traffic that it assumes this site is able to accumulate, given, kind of the position that it's sitting in for the terms that it's ranking for. I always like to start by looking at top pages. So keep in mind, this business is sitting at spot number 3 organically. If we go back, we can see, are they up in the maps? Mid-American, I don't see them in the maps up here. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're not, ranking for additional terms or getting found by other people. The other thing that I would say is that typically when somebody's looking for a pool installer, they probably want to see a body of work. They want to see kind of, some galleries, some other instances. So at some point they are going to navigate to the website before they, potentially make a call to you. So it's important to be found in the map, but from this perspective, it's also important to be found organically. So as we take a look at top pages, what we can see is that this site only has about 11 pages that are generating a level of like external visibility in Google search. Now, if you had Search Console, you could get in there and see what else do they rank for, where else are they ranking, but Ahrefs and some of these other tools no longer have as deep of access into that bank of keywords that they rank for. So it really typically is only going to pull, some of the higher level search terms and pages that are actually getting traffic. So what we can see right here is it's got a homepage, right there, ranking and generating about 87 clicks on a monthly basis. It ranks for about 17 different keywords. It's got a lot of referring domains pointing at it, which is typical for the homepage. Every other page on the site looks like it doesn't have much backlink authority. So back to that point about authority. If we actually look at the primary page here in Ahrefs to understand how much authority this site has, it's telling me that their authority is about a 7 domain rating. DR stands for domain rating. Even though they do have a couple hundred referring domains, the quality of those referring domains is only lifting their domain rating to about a 7. So I would look at this and I would say, okay, relatively low authority. I would go to the pages and I would say they only have about 11 pages that are generating traffic, and they don't have any backlinks pointing to any of these, more specific individual pages. They do have this FAQ page, but their location pages aren't performing, ultra well. They don't have much authority pointing to those pages. And potentially the keyword targeting could be a little bit off. If we dig into a page like this, we can start to understand, how are they actually building this out. One thing that I will point out is I don't love that they have Louisville Pool and spa builders. I don't love that they've combined those two terms. I would prioritize a term like pool installation Louisville, as opposed to pool and spa. And then I would most likely build a separate page for spa. Or some of these pools I think are typically referred to as like infinity pools or a specific type of pool. So I would be very careful with the terminology that I would use on a page like this. Now, somebody might look at this and be like, no, you're completely wrong. The way to validate this is by going and actually searching Louisville pool installers and seeing who shows up for that. Now, keep in mind, I was just on their site, so it's possible that I that they rank pretty high, because Google will kind of keep a track of what pages you've been on. So if we take a look at some of these other pages, you can see right here, swimming pool contractors and remodeling experts serving Louisville, right? This is an individual, like a specific Louisville landing page. And you can see that the page is dedicated to pool builder, swimming pool contractor, and remodeler. It does not include the term spa. This page, if we go and we look at the performance in Ahrefs, let's take a quick look here. They've got a significantly higher domain rating. While this stuff is loading here. Can't fetch referring domains, which ultimately is fine, but this page does rank for 6 organic terms. It's generating about 26 projected clicks on a monthly basis. And then while this is loading, looks like it's getting ready to kick in. Okay, Louisville pool builders, pool installation Louisville, in-ground pools Louisville. So you can see right out of the gate that this is ranking for a lot of specific pool-related terms, which I think could be the weakness of this page right here, is that it's spreading that authority between Louisville and spa. And now you might come back and also say, if you own this website, or if somebody's looking at this, you could come back and say, well, they have another page for Louisville Pool and they have another page for Louisville Spa. This is just sort of the pillar page that serves both of those. My argument to that basically would be you're going to compete and cannibalize those pages then. So having like a dedicated vertical for, the specific terms and services that you offer in those markets, really does matter. So the reason I wanted to show, this information right here is because as you're building out an opportunity landscape, it's important to look at the competition and say, hey, in this market, who am I up against? What are they doing? How can I compete with that? Is there opportunity here? And specifically for Cincinnati, given, and I'm on the north, kind of the outskirts of what I would define as Cincinnati, but given what I looked at in the Cincinnati market, as an SEO specialist, I look at that and I say, okay, we would probably need about 12 to 18 months of solid link building. We would need to build a website that covers, at length, the list of services here. The sites that we're competing against are a little bit more professionally done. They're built in a kind of a clean capacity. But I would look at this and I would say, hey, if I can make 50 to 60K on a new pool, and then I can have an ongoing partnership or relationship with that family and provide the cleaning, the opening, and the closing, and then any sort of maintenance that's required, that could be a a $60,000 to $80,000 install for an in-ground pool in a capacity like this, and then that could be $4,000 to $10,000 in revenue every single year. And if you compound all of that and build all of that up, I would look at this and I would say, hey, this market has an opportunity for me to build a business and compete from a marketing standpoint. I can kind of slot in here and start to generate some serious revenue. So that's how I would validate a home service opportunity, home service business and market. First, finding one that has a high return on each and every project. Second, it would be kind of validating the competition in the market and doing some keyword research to identify, hey, what are the terms that I would potentially want to go after? And then the third thing that I would do is I would really start to run the numbers and figure out, what would it look like for me to build this out? What does the team need to look like? How much runway do I need to have from a marketing standpoint before this is starting to drive, like a positive ROI and generate profit for me? If you have the skill set to do this, which I don't have the skill set to install in-ground pools, if you had the skill set to do this and you didn't necessarily have to go after this and hire a team of professionals that are going to cost you, probably upwards of $200,000-$300,000 a year to do this work, then I would say that the opportunity is a little bit more ripe. You can get some momentum with about $1,000 to $3,000 in marketing investment on a monthly basis right out of the gate. Really work with somebody who knows what they're doing. You're not going to shoot out of a cannon and start getting 10, 20, 40 leads per month right away. But as you lay that marketing foundation from an SEO perspective, it's going to be, in an AEO perspective, it's going to be lower cost, but pretty high opportunity, especially with the longevity that you can get in search marketing when you do it the right way. So this would be a success. I would say if you have any questions about your business, if you have any questions about service industries that you want to go into, if you have any questions about basically any industry that you want to see growth in, whether it's SaaS or legal services or automotive or whatever, I'd love to talk to you and kind of run you through a similar strategy, or not strategy, but a similar exercise to kind of say, hey, where's the opportunity for my business? Who are my competitors? How do I outperform, the other people that are in the space? Forgive me there, my phone rang. But yeah, my name's Scott. I'm the founder of Easty Marketing Group. If you have any questions about your AEO, SEO, digital marketing needs, PR, anything along those lines, I'd love to touch base with you. Scott, SCOTT at Easty, EASTY marketinggroup.com. Appreciate you, and we'll see you in the next video.